second-round sweep of the Atlanta Hawks. I'm joined by Mike Brown. Nice to have you back. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jim. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Mike, you close somebody out, you do it on the road, and you do it winning ugly. That's got to make a coach feel good.
It does. Anytime that you can win the quote-unquote right way, which is on the defense end of the floor, then you got to feel good about the performance. There are a lot of things, obviously, that we can work on that we struggled with a little bit in Game 3 and Game 4 in Atlanta on the offense end of the floor. But, I tell you what, I'm proud of our guys for working their tails off and trying to get it done on that end of the floor defensively.
And look, you've won 8 straight. It looks pretty good to me. What would you like to see improved upon?
I thought offensively we were a little stagnant yesterday. During that Game 4, I really felt we didn't make hard cuts. We didn't set solid screens. We didn't get a lot of easy baskets. Atlanta had a lot to do with that. But I felt prior to Games 3 and Games 4 against Atlanta in our first 6 playoff games, we've done a nice job offensively getting that ball reversed and attacking early and trying to get some easy baskets in transition. And that's something you got to search for, especially come playoff time.
So, Mike, generally, are you content having rolled through the first 2 rounds and winning 8 straight, or would you have liked to have faced a little more resistance to see how your team might respond and maybe have it toughen them up a bit?
You know what? I'm going to take them how I can get them. And if that means 8 in a row, then great. But we understand and we know that we're not going to go undefeated throughout the playoffs. We're going to be tested. We're going to have to bounce back after a loss and respond the right way. And I feel like our guys, this group of guys, because we have a lot of veterans, we have guys that have been through this type of experience before, this group of guys can withstand any defeat or any setback that we have. And in order to be champions, you got to go through that. So when it comes across our plate, we'll be able to handle it.
Hey, Mike, talk about the chemistry of this team and this group that you have. The chemistry is so outstanding. Does chemistry come before the wins? For instance, is chemistry part of the reason why you're winning, or is the chemistry a result of all the winning?
It's a combination of both. And the reason being that this past summer, last summer, Danny Ferry and I, we were talking about what do we need to put this team together in order for it to be a championship team. And obviously, you need the right pieces. You got to go out and try to find that. You have to have an owner like Dan Gilbert that's willing to spend the money, which he is, obviously. Then you have to have guys with vision like Danny Ferry and Chris Grant and Lance Blanks in our front office. And now, from a basketball standpoint, yes, you got to be X's and O's. Your X's and O's got to be the right way on both ends of the floor, especially defensively. But what intangibles can you try to bring to the table to help your team win? And the first thing that we thought about when we talk about championships is chemistry. You always hear people say, well, you got to have the right chemistry. And we've put our heads together, and we thought that chemistry was defined simply by the word of trust. And our opening night dinner before training camp, that's all we talked about. We didn't talk about how we finished last year, what we wanted to do this year in terms of wins and losses or winning the division or trying to go undefeated here or there. The only thing we talked about on our preseason training camp dinner night, opening night, is what chemistry equated to, and that's trust. Trust between the coaches, trust of the coaches to the players, vice versa. Trust amongst the players, and we felt that this group showed that early on when they were coming to play pickup ball, and it's carried over and helped us win a lot of games this year.
You got to have that. I would imagine, regardless of what the coach brings to the table, you're not going to win unless you have great players, but just having great players doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy team to coach. I would argue that as great as the Bulls were back in the 90s, they were not an easy team to coach. As great as the Lakers were with Shaq and Kobe, they were not an easy team to coach. Is this a coachable group?
This is a coachable group. I agree. Anytime you have 15 personalities and you're trying to make them have one identity or to be on the same page and have one goal, especially with the amount of money and fame and all that other stuff that's involved at this level in the NBA, it's a hard thing to do. And a lot of times, I don't know Phil Jackson very well, but a lot of times people say, well, I could do what Phil did if he had this player, that player, these players, and it's a tough thing. It's not an easy task to put a team together and to win a championship. And I've been fortunate to be a part of a championship team in San Antonio as an assistant coach, and we had great players, but it was rough. It was no cakewalk, and I'm happy to be associated with the group of guys that I'm with now, and I believe that this group has a chance, but that's all we have is an opportunity, and we got to go get it.
Hey, Mike, what was tough about San Antonio?
Just the journey. You have games laid out in front of you that a lot of times people expect you to win, and if you're not careful as a staff, if you're not careful as an individual player or a group of players, you can look past the team on any given night. And I thought our guys were extremely focused in San Antonio. I thought we took each opponent, one opponent at a time, and didn't look too far ahead of ourselves. And because of the respect that we had for the journey, we were able to win the championship.
All right, next up, Eastern Conference Finals. Mike, I appreciate the visit. As always, thank you very much.
Jim, anytime. I appreciate your time.